And what I do is I just take a log and I thin it out a little bit in the middle. I start pinching on two sides to start forming a chest. Start pulling some of the clay up and down from both sides. And so you see it starting to raise here. I'm going to take some of this clay off the top here. Start pulling and pinching to form the neck. I'm leaving the neck long because I use liquid clay to put a hole in the bottom of the head and attach it later. And you can see the side of her kind of is actually giving a natural curve to her back as I'm pinching and pulling. I start pinching and pulling on the back, and this starts creating the shape for the bottom to start coming out. And so that's the small of the back and the bottom starting. And then I'm going to start thinning it out down by where the tail is. If you wanted to start shaping a rear end, you even can. You can smooth in the marks. But if you wanted to have two cheeks, so at least there's the appearance of a bottom underneath the overlay of the tail we do later, you will at least have the shape if you want. And then when you decide where knees are, once you have it the shape you want, you can bend it. So after forming the main body, I put her down and pressed down on her hips and folded up her legs. And so she's more in a sitting position. I'll take a small amount and roll to a long cone. And then I start flattening the top portion to thicken it. Then I decide where the elbow is. And then flatten out a portion for the hand. I'm going to put a little translucent liquid Sculpey in the shoulder area. And then I bent another one for the other arm. So from here, I'm going to connect the new clay and turn it into part of the shoulder by smoothing the fresh clay onto the hardened clay until it's smooth. We're starting the tail portion, and what I did was take a triangle of the dark aqua, put it on purple so that way I have the exact same triangles, and then we're going to have it with the frost glitter color. And the reason I'm leaving some space in the middle is because I want some white alone. So we remove the white parts, and then we're going to turn this into a Skinner blend, and I'll be back with the results. I'll link a video that I've made of the Skinner blend into the description box below, and for those of you who don't have a pasta roller, I will link a a video to someone who does Skinner blends with the regular lucite clay rollers. So no need to fear if you don't have a pasta roller. I'll link both of those in the description box, and I'll be right back. I'll go ahead and cut this in half since I'm making two. You want to make sure to get to where the line is going to be where you want the tail to start. I'll cut up the excess trim. I also smooth the tail to try to get it to blend in as seamlessly as possible. And so this is another Skinner blend. I'll be back as soon as I have this one blended out. I do the first one as a cut, like you just saw, and lay it on the bottom. And eventually it gets this tiny. I'm going to take a fat slice, and then I'm going to feed these through the pasta roller. I rolled it out super thin to make the mermaid tail. I fold and crinkle. So there's the beginning of the tail. And I try to rip it with making some of it come in and out so it's not regular. So there's our little mermaid tail. And go ahead and smooth it on and cook one more time. Before baking, I crumble up some paper and have it lean on the paper in the position I want it to bake. So when she lays on her tummy, her tail looks like that. I take 2 slices and run them through the pasta roller. I'm tearing the bottom very gently, and then I place it on the side and smooth the edges in. And you do 2 of those. I'm going to bake her one more time with this, and then we'll do all the finishing touches. Something that I can add right now too, that would be kind of pretty, is along the edges of the tail, put some translucent liquid Sculpey and sprinkle on some iridescent glitter just to the tip of her tail. And you could even put some on the little fins. I roll a little ball and shape it into an oval, and then I put it in front of the neck to see if that's about the right size. That looks like a good size to me. I'm going to stick in a needle tool and create an opening in the neck, and then from here I'll put a little translucent liquid Sculpey on her actual neck right here. And I'm going to let it sit there for a few minutes, and then I'm going to smooth her head on with the needle tool like this. So I'll smooth her head on once the TLS has a chance to settle on for a few minutes. For the hair, I'm using part of the longer one. And I'll run these through the pasta roller and thin them out a little bit. So after taking them out of the pasta roller, I'm making long triangular cuts. And since I'm making two, I'm making wider part of the triangles on both sides and saving both. To attach hair, I put little bits of translucent liquid Sculpey where I'm going to attach the hair. And then I pick up some of the small triangles that I cut. So here I have two aqua colors. I'm going to water down the acrylic paint. So here are the finished mermaids. We're going to start showing them. So there's one, and she lays on her side, looking into the mirror. And then here is her tail. Oh. Sorry, I'm filming this upside down. I'm hoping that I got some good footage. And then she sits on her side. And they have boobs, but I haven't painted on any little bits or anything. Her hair is covering her. And this was the original that you guys saw, so I made the colors in exactly the same. I just went ahead and did two mermaids, so we can reverse the tail and the hair. So it's the same, but we just reversed it.